Hey everyone, Chris here. Today we are building a GPIO expander circuit that designed for industrial applications. This board is properly protected, works with virtually any microcontroller, and I will walk you through the entire process from schematic design to PCB layout, ordering, assembly, and finally a complete test. Let's get started. I built a GPIO expander circuit a while ago, but that version was designed for breadboard prototyping. This new design is meant for DIN-rail mounting, making it suitable for real industrial environments. The core IC remains the same. We are using the MCP23S17, a reliable I²C based 16-bit I/O expander. You can chain up to 8 of these ICs on the same bus, giving you up to 128 GPIOs controlled through just 4 pins from your microcontroller. If speed is critical, the MCP23S17 variant uses SPI, but be aware it comes at a higher cost. I focused on 4 key design pillars for this project. First, protection. I've isolated the circuit from external peripherals using optocouplers and added reverse polarity protection at the power entry. Second, industrial layout. I wanted the connectors and component placement to mimic standard PLCs, making it familiar and easy to integrate. Third, optimized size. Not too small to be impractical, not too large to waste cabinet space. I aimed for a balanced footprint. Fourth, ease of use. The board is designed to be plug and play with clear silkscreen labels and intuitive connections. I started designing the schematic in Altium Develop. Let's walk through the key sections. At the power entry, you can power the board either through the I²C connector or from an external 24-volt supply selectable via a small jumper. For external power, I used a 2-pin terminal block. To ensure correct polarity regardless of user error, I added a bridge rectifier so even if power is reversed, the circuit stays safe. The next stage is a DC-DC converter that steps the voltage down to 5 volt and provides galvanic isolation for enhanced protection. Power then goes to the MCP, the heart of the board. I added proper decoupling capacitors to ensure signal integrity. The GPIOs are arranged from GPA0 to GPB7, giving you 16 channels in total. Following our protection goal, I used the TLP optocouplers for optically isolate the MCP pins from external connections. The MCP receives control data via its I²C port. To set the hardware address, which allows up to 8 devices on the same bus, I used a 3-position slide switch connected to the A0, A1, and A2 address pins. The address is also displayed on a 7-segment display driven by a BCD to 7-segment decoder, so you always know which device you are talking to. All GPIOs are accessible through screw terminal blocks, with both signal and ground connections available for easy wiring. I chaired this project using Altium Cloud collaboration feature. That means you can view the full project, schematic, PCB layout, and 3D render from anywhere on any device. You can also leave comments directly on the design and I will reply promptly. If you want access, just click the link in the description and I will add you as a project member. This Altium Online feature helps projects collaboration at different levels and facilitate project updates sharing to all project members. Once the schematic was complete, I moved to the PCB layout. Following the industrial layout goal, I placed the power entry at the top left with a terminal block and DC jack for flexibility. I placed outputs at the top edge and inputs at the bottom edge, just like standard PLCs. The I²C connectors, input and output for daisy chaining, are located at the bottom right. The final board measures 103mm by 60mm on a 2-layer PCB, which I found quite reasonable for this feature set. Here is a 3D render of the finished design. Next, I ordered the boards from JLCPCB. The process was straightforward. I uploaded the Gerber files, selected the board color and surface finish, and also ordered a stencil for assembly. 6 days later, I received the iconic blue box with neatly packaged PCBs and the stencil. Now let's move to the assembly process. I secured the PCB, aligned the stencil, and applied solder paste evenly across all pads. Using fine tweezers, I carefully placed each component, paying close attention to orientation, especially for the ICs and polarized parts. Once everything was in place, I used my mini hot plate to reflow the board. Watching the solder melt under the digital microscope is always satisfying. The surface tension pulls every component into perfect alignment. After the board cooled, I soldered the through-hole components like terminal blocks and connectors. Here is the final assembled board, exactly as designed. I started with a quick inspection, no shorts, no visible solder bridges, and the assembly looked clean. Time to power it up. I connected a 24-volt power supply, flipped the switch, and nothing. No smoke, no sound, that's good. But also no LEDs. That's because the power selection jumper was still set to I²C power. I moved it to EXT for external supply and BOM. The power LED lit up and the 7-segment display showed 0. The slide switches next to the display let you change the I²C address and you see the change instantly on the display. I also included status LEDs for each input and output channel. No programming or software configuration is needed for basic operation, just plug and play. Now for the functional testing, I connected the module to my bench power supply and uploaded a simple Arduino sketch to cycle through all 8 outputs. I connected the Arduino I²C port to my device I²C input connector, and here is the result. Every output fired in sequence, just as programmed. For the inputs, I wrote a sketch that mirrors the input state directly to the outputs. I connected a 24-volt signal through a push button, and when I press it, the corresponding input LED lit up and the output turned on in perfect sync. Finally, I designed a 3D printed housing with DIN rail mounting capability. I used M3 threaded inserts to ensure the board inside the enclosure, and I attached a standard rail clip on the back. The module is now ready for installation in any electrical cabinet. And that's a wrap. This project is now fully functional, rugged, and ready for industrial use. I will wait for your thoughts in the comment section regarding this device. One last thing, make sure you are doing electronics every day. This was Chris. See you next time.